So I'm just gonna press the record button and talk what's going on in my head. And come on, Lens, come on, do your thing. I know there's not a lot of light here, so you're a little confused. Just keep up with me. So I'm just gonna start recording and share what's going on in my mind and in my feelings. I have a hard time trusting. I love my job, but I have a hard time trusting my coworkers, even though they've done nothing wrong to me, and it's something to do with my previous job at the hospital. There was a lot of gossiping that went on behind my back, a lot of misinformation, basically a smear campaign going on, and that I shared that in a video somewhere on my channel. I shared that, and it's actually a form of gangstalking, pretty much. And I felt that was happening with me, and it was traumatizing. You know, gangstalking is real, and it can make you end up in a state of psychosis. So, just saying it was all just psychosis, no. You slipped into psychosis because of the severe stress and paranoia, and also it was triggered because of you being gang stalked, being monitored, being talked about behind your back, having a smear campaign going on around you, and your reputation being ruined, and making you feel unsafe and unsettled and paranoid because you are surrounded and you know you're surrounded. Therefore, you get hypersensitive when it comes to being alert. Like you're overly alert. You're in alert mode. That's what can happen. So yes, it could be psychosis, but gang stalking is a real thing, man. And I thought it was so traumatizing working at that goddamn hospital. And I knew there was gang stalking going on around me because I witnessed it myself, not noticing what I was participating was actually gang stalking. And they were all targeting a type of individual, but it doesn't go like that. It's not like, the bystanders or the people who are participating, the flying monkeys. You don't notice how wrong it is until you realize, oh my god, I am being misguided, and what I'm doing here is actually not something I would actually want to do. It's a very interesting. Well, it's a bad experience, though. Well, bad. What is bad? It's a disgusting experience. It made me feel disgusted when I woke up from it, like, oh my god. Like I said, I shared this in a video. It's like, the video is called Before You Call Me Crazy, Hear Me Out, hashtag gangstalking. And then it was happening to me. Being monitored, being followed, being lurked. It's very extraordinary. I don't know if everyone have this. Okay, hear me out. I'm not off topic here. One time, I was in a certain station in Belgium. I'm not going to give the names. Well, fine. Brussels-Zuid. That station. And I was sitting on a bench waiting for, I was at the wrong perron, the wrong whatever. And I had this in my mind, this type of person that's following me. I didn't know why. And I decided to go downstairs into the main area of the station, and I walked and something tells me to go left. Okay, I'll go left. and I saw that person, and he freaked out and started running up the escalator, hoping that I won't identify him. And I was in the escalator, and I saw him, and that was the person that I had in mind, and I pretended I didn't notice him. And he turned around, like looking at the person that was with him, like, and I remember him saying somewhere in the lines like, "Oh, don't. He's not noticing that I'm here. He's not noticing that here," but in Dutch, right? I was like, I can't believe I have that. So like I was actually being stalked, and I sensed it. So that my point is, when you're being monitored, when you're being lurked or stalked, it actually does something with the human mind. You're messing with their radar senses. Everyone has it. Everyone has that sixth sense, that radar, that instinct. It's in our nature. There's a whole psychological, scientific explanation about it. I guarantee it. It's just not out there because it's too much for the average population to handle, I assume. Just that based on my experience, I knew this was not a spiritual thing. Sorry, I'm just sharpening up the camera. It's not a spiritual thing. I know it's like it's my radar, my instincts telling me I was being followed. So my point is, when I was being targeted by the people at the hospital, because I shared in that video, the video that's called "Before You Call Me Crazy, Hear Me Out" #gangstalking. I felt like this is wrong and unethical of how they're treating this person, because that person ended up crying hysterically and having a hard time, and she didn't know what was happening with her. They were doing it to me as well. It messes up your whole being. I think all humans have this. They have, there's something that's we can't explain beyond our five senses, perhaps, but maybe one day we will, millions of years down the line, throughout our evolution, maybe. Who knows? There's probably much more senses even that we can't really identify yet. I don't know. I know I have it. I knew that that woman had it that was being targeted at the hospital, and I felt it. Like it messes up your psyche and therefore triggers psychosis. It I know this to be true, and I'm sharing this based on my personal experience. This is not the first time. This happens countless times where I sense something was happening of a specific person following me, and then eventually I end up seeing that person. Like this happened so many times. That was just one example I shared, and it was the one that I couldn't forget. That's why stalking and monitoring and lurking someone based on, just because you're trying to get information out of them, that's why it's considered a crime. That's why it's a criminal offense. Because it is an offense. You're messing up the person's psyche. You are damaging the person's sensory system. Although that's not the reason why the law made it. I don't know. You can ruin someone's lives by doing that. Also, it's also based on a professor who stated this, who's an expert in psychology. If you feel the need, you have to steer away from a certain type of person. You don't know why. You don't know why you're steering away from that person. It's because there's actually something shady going on. He made a whole channel. About talking about the intuition and instinct. It's Sam Vaknin, Professor Sam Vaknin. He talks about this. If you feel that somehow you have to steer away from that person, that should tell you something. And I had that a lot with certain types of people. And so if you think if you're like lurking on someone, monitoring them, stalking them, and think they don't notice, they notice it. Maybe not on a conscious level, but subconsciously they feel it and they sense it. It's in their sensory. They know it, and you're fucking with them, and it's gonna bite you back. By the way, the person that was stalking me, let's just say he paid the consequences of his actions right now. Yep. He's never gonna do it again. He learned the errors of his ways. So, yeah, be careful. If you're going to start doing something as criminal as lurking, stalking, monitoring, gossiping, talking shit about that person, what goes around comes around. I've learned this in my 39 years of experience. This always happens. People who do shitty things to other people, it will get you back. One way or another. It's a dribble effect. It will come back at you. I'm going to make a whole other video explaining what my theory is as to why that is the case. It's actually quite logical. But I need to be able to perform it, like be able to express it verbally. And I don't have really high verbal IQ. It's like just average, 100. Like I'm not shit you. My verbal IQ is exactly 100, just verbal. My other areas of IQ is actually much higher, but that was just 100. So it's like, but like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go, guys. Bye.